This will just take 1 second. Okay, we are all set with that, and then record a backup. Wonderful. Well, welcome everyone to the Power of the Moon Astrology webinar. First, I just want to say a few things about how this is going to work. I like everything to be interactive, and I have one of my mentees, an amazing astrologer herself, Ashley Cooper. You can see her there. She is going to be helping to monitor the chat. And so what we're going to do for the people who want hot takes on their natal charts from me, which we're going to do at the end, you can either DM Ashley or put your birth information in the chat, and she's going to keep a list of everyone and keep you numbered. And then I'm going to use random number generator to pick people. So yeah, so it'll be picked at random. Who gets, so your guides, tell your guides, I want a reading. If you want a reading, tell them to sing, shout, and yell it all out so that you get picked for that. But I'll do as many as I can. A lot of times I can do them all. And I'm having two others as well as this one. So if I don't get you today, hopefully I'll get you the next time. But yeah. Okay. And feel free to make any comments in the chat. I love how my community says things to each other, kind words of support. Sometimes people's, stories that come up are a little difficult, or people just need feel free to support each other or share anything you want to share in the chat. Please put where you're located and your moon sign if you know it. And if you want a reading, your birth time, place, and date. And hopefully you know the exact time, but if not, I can work with that as well. Okay, I think, and this is going to be on YouTube, so just keep that in mind. If you have any concerns about that, you may want to come for a personal reading instead of, one in a group setting. And okay, I think that's enough announcements. Let's get started. And so, Ashley, I'll stop periodically, but if you feel like you need to interrupt me, just come off mute and interrupt me. Okay, great. Let me present my screen. Okay. So today's discussion is about the power of the moon. Yes, it is. And an introduction of me for anyone who is new to me. I am Celeste Brooks, and I am an astrologer, coach, and podcaster. My podcast is called Celestial Insights, and you can listen to it wherever you listen: Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Audible, whatever. And what it is I like to do it to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. So you know what's coming up and the theme of the week, words of the day, all that kind of stuff. So if you like it, please rate and review it and share it with any of your friends who may find it useful for them. I'm the founder of the Moon Mastery Program, which is my signature program that is a tool for self-discovery and to help people manifest with more ease. I'm a Taurus sun, so I like to present information that's practical, grounded, useful, and all those kinds of things that you can use in daily life. That earth energy likes to, be stable. I have an Aries moon, so I like us to have some fun. This morning in my Instagram program, I was bouncing off the walls. I was having such a good time. I felt like I looked so cute. I got so tickled by myself. I have these little things in my hair. You may not be able to see them, but I feel like I look like a Peanuts character or a little schoolgirl. Anyway, my Aries moon, I can be kind of childlike and overly enthusiastic at times, but really what I feel like it has enabled me to do is I really like to inspire people to reach higher than you think you can do, and have the courage to pursue your goals, even though at times we fail or we miss steps, or, we use all these things as a learning experience, and we pick ourselves up, brush ourselves off, and keep going when there are disappointments, obstacles, all those kinds of things. We don't break down, we break through. I'm a Cancer rising, so I like to have a very consultative approach where people feel safe and comfortable, where they can share, things that are, emotional and important, and be vulnerable in a safe environment. Yeah, so that's my big three. I love to read, although most of the time now I do a lot of Audible because I read so much astrology. I don't read as much fiction, but I just listened to this great Audible called The Housemaid. If anyone's looking for a book, it was just a fun suspense novel that had like a lot of twists and turns. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I used to be a Yelp elite because I'm a foodie. That Cancer sun, the Cancer moon, Taurus sun, loves food, loves to eat, loves to enjoy sensual pleasures. But I lost my badge during the pandemic, whatever. I have 5 planets in the 11th house of groups. So I'm called to be a coach. The 11th house, if you have a large emphasis, a lot of people are coaches in the 11th house. I also have my North Node in the 9th house of teaching. So I'm a teacher and a coach. Yes. My background is I have my degree in biology and my MBA, and I spent over 25 years in corporate America doing sales, marketing, business development stuff. And I knew, like, when Uranus went into the sign of Taurus in 2018, the great awakener that is like the Fool, the tarot card, the Fool, where you can become open to new things. I knew I didn't want to do this corporate thing for the rest of my life. I knew something different was there for me. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. When I realized it was astrology, I used the moon and her cycles to break this big goal of starting a new business and transitioning from corporate to being an entrepreneur, to break the things I needed to do down into manageable pieces so that I could achieve my goal. And it's been almost 2 years. I threw off the shackles of corporate America, and now I'm doing my thing as a coach, astrologer, and entrepreneur. Yes, with my own small but mighty business. Yes. So you can find me at astrologybyceleste.com, where you can subscribe. I do newsletters twice a month about the new and the full moon. I love talking about mundane astrology and helping us understand what's going on as above, so below in the news. And that's what I do every Sunday, Monday. I talk about that on my Instagram live. If you follow me there, just be aware there are lots of people who pretend to be me and slide into DMs. I'll never do that. I will never approach you in your DMs for a reading. Readings are booked on my website. Yes. And I do readings, events. I also do astrology mentoring. So if there's some skills you want to get better at, or what have you, or some guidance or practice, I do that, as well as I do coaching. So for 3 months or a year, if you want to work with me to achieve your goals in relationship to your natal chart and what's going on with you, that's a great way, another great way to work with me. But Moon Mastery, my signature class, will start on March 14th. So keep that in mind if that's something you are interested in diving deeper into astrology through the lens of the moon. Okay.
We do have a question before we get started.
Oh, great.
The question is, does stellium mean more than 5 planets in the same house?
So a stellium is 3 or more. Some astrologers say 4 or more, but I use 3 or more. So it's a concentration of energy, but I have 5 planets in the 11th house, but it can be just 3. And you can have a stellium in a sign or a house. So I have 3 planets in Taurus and then 2 in Gemini in my 11th house. Great. Any other questions?
Don't see any more at the moment.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ashley. That's a great question. Yes. Uh, Three things cannot be hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And Buddha, another Taurus, said that. I love that quote. Yeah, and the sun and the moon are the luminaries. They illuminate things. If you've heard of that phrase, sun is the best disinfectant. Um, yeah, things can't be long hidden. So we're going to talk about all about the moon. I'm going to talk a little bit about astrology in action, and that's when we see astrology in real life reflected on what's going on. I'll talk to you about the Moon Mastery Program, and anyone who wants to join can sign up. And then I'll do hot takes, as many as I can on participants. So whether you just want me to look at your chart, tell you what I see, or if you have a specific question, yeah, we'll do that at the end. Yeah, and maybe, Ashley, can you go back on mute? There's a little background, or anyone, if it's someone else, there's just a little background noise. Okay, so let's talk about the moon. The moon, people have followed the moon as long as people have existed. We've got, cave markings from the tens of thousands of years ago, marking the cycles of the sun and the moon when they come together, spread apart, and come back together. The moon is a marker of time. The word month comes from month because the cycles of the moon, where there's a new moon, that we have this increasing light to the full moon, and then the light decreases back again to the new moon. That 29-day cycle is about a month. So that's where the word comes from. Astrology is a calendar. The year that we use is when the sun is all about the sun's path. That 365 days where the sun comes back to where it was the year before. We start the year in astrology when the sun is at 0 degrees of Aries, and then it comes back again, 364 and a quarter, whatever days after that. So the year, the sun, the month, the moon, and the sun's intimate dance together. Astrology and the moon helps mark time. People have used it for navigation through the night sky. The new moon, one of the reasons we feel so internal is because the sky is dark when there is a new moon, and we celebrate more when the night sky is bright, when there's a full moon, to help us, guide us, and whatnot. But sailors, whatever, people walking, whatever, have used it for navigation. Planting and harvesting crops. For every time there is a season, there's a time to plant. You plant in the spring, or depending on what it is, you harvest in the fall. Yeah. And a lot of that has to be based on the moon cycles, and each of the full moons have a name based on different traditions from different cultures. Oh, somebody's, let's see. I don't know if there's, can you see who's talking, Ashley, to mute them, or should I? Let me know if I need to come off. Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, let me know if I can try to. Okay, and the moon is a feminine yin energy, meaning it's more internal. Yang energy is more external. So the sun is the yang, like creative life force in terms of that energy, and the moon is the yin energy. Yeah. So, and some things about the moon. In astrology, we call the sun and moon, which are luminaries, we also call them planets. And the moon is the one that moves the fastest. It's the closest to Earth, and it changes signs every 2.5 days. It moves about 13 degrees to the zodiac every day. Sometimes it's a little faster, sometimes a little slower. It changes phases, meaning that's talking about the dance between the sun and the moon every 3.5 days. In the horoscope, we talk about our big three of personality, the sun, moon, and rising sign. And the moon is so crucial in electional astrology, which is the astrology of picking an auspicious date to launch things where you'll have the most likely chance of success, as well as in horary astrology. One of the things I practice where people ask a specific question, and the querent is the person asks a question to an astrologer. You don't need a birth time or anything. And when the astrologer understands the question, they cast a chart. And the querent is represented by the ascendant of the chart and the ascendant ruler, and co-signified by the moon. And the moon speaks to the order of events. The moon is a messenger, as well as about what most people know about it, about how we need to feel safe and all of that stuff. Yeah. But in horary, it's so important. So people ask questions like, will I get this job? Is our relationship going to last? Is this a good business partnership? Can the two of us make a deal? Things like that can also be answered through astrology. This horary astrology is kind of it's like the tarot reading of astrology, and it's one of my favorite things to do. I specialize in that, as well as natal chart astrology and mundane astrology. So one of the reasons I love teaching about the moon, besides being a Cancer rising and having the moon ruling my whole chart from my 10th house of my career, life's calling, public image, is because I feel like it gets somewhat of short shrift in modern astrology. It was in traditional astrology, it was focused on a lot more heavily, but in modern astrology, I just feel like it's kind of skipped over quickly or talked about, but the depth and breadth of it is sometimes missed. So that's one of the reasons I feel called to teach about the moon. And from our perspective on Earth, even though, obviously the sun is much bigger than the moon, they appear to be the same size from our perspective. And the sun rules our conscious mind, what we know, and the moon rules our subconscious mind. That's the things that, like, the moon is memory. It's like when we act out of emotion or out of stress, like if someone pushes you up against a wall. Hold on, there's some background noise still. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. When someone pushes you up against a wall, you act from your moon sign, not from your sun sign. Or our default habits. Like if you feel like, why can't I stop doing that? It's because it's the moon. It's like what's not right on this conscious mind. It's more a deeper thing that we're dealing with. And when we talk about the sun, okay, Moniqua, I'm muting you because I can hear some background noise. So please stay on mute. Yeah. So when we talk about the sun, is the sovereign, is like the king. Everything kind of reports to the sun. It's the light giving force. But the moon is the ambassador to the sun. So consciously, you know what you want to do in your life, but the moon is the ambassador and the messenger that helps carry the messages to get what's done. Yeah. And this is from William Ramsay. He was a Scottish astrologer and physician from like the 1600s, and talks about the moon as the most powerful of all of the planets on because of her proximity to us. She's so close to us, she carries the messages from the other planets down us. And her swiftness, she moves so fast that she transfers the light And one of the things we talk about is the moon translates the light and influence of the superior. So that would be all the other planets that are farther away from us than her by configuration with them. And so like if you watch the moon's transits during the day, sometimes you can see like how a conversation's going to go, or when there'll be like someone will raise their voice, or there'll be a little argument, or there'll be a peacemaking where there'll be a time where people are trying to connect more. So yeah, please don't take yourself off mute. Um, there's some background noise. Okay, so yes, there's that. So people have been honoring the moon for many years, thousands of years, and the moon is associated with magic. You know, this in the tarot deck, the high priestess that just uses her intuition. The moon rules the stomach, so we talk about gut instincts, where you just know in your gut something is the way it is, and that divine wisdom within us, especially women, have a special connection to that wisdom, that intuition, and the divine nature. But we all have feminine and masculine traits within us. I mean, a lot of men who are very intuitive. So let me not get myself in trouble by saying something sexist. I didn't mean to say anything sexist. Okay. Fertility is ruled by the moon. Protection, people have used moon talismans and things for protections for many years. And the wilds, the things we don't, that like unleashed passion has as an essence of the moon. So Isis, the Egyptian deity, where you can see here, she's such an amazing example of a moon goddess, where she was considered a magical healer, this healing power, using this magical power, a protector of women and children and the dead. She was thought to transport the dead, but you can see she's a moon goddess, but she also has this solar disc at the top of her, on her crown, and these horns that looks like a cow's horn. And cow, the symbol which we associate now with Taurus, about abundance as well. Yeah, and the moon about like fertility and creativity and all of this stuff. She illuminates the path for people. Selene, Luna, the Greco-Roman deity, the mythology around her is that she would draw the moon across the sky in her chariot. Helios would draw the sun across the sky, and then she would draw the moon across the sky. Again, associated with childbirth, the moon as mother. And in your natal chart, your moon often speaks to things about your mother, how you mother as well. And selenite is a wonderful crystal that comes from her name, that's used for like its cleansing powers. Artemis, Diana, is another Greco-Roman goddess. I love Artemis. She's like the Wonder Woman, is named Diana, and it comes from this Artemis mythology. Right now, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, relationships, harmony, all of that stuff is in the sign of Aries. And I found this on the web. Sorry. And you can think about Venus and Aries being like a Wonder Woman type, where a female warrior who has the courage and the passion to pursue all of the things that bring her pleasure, or as well, Aries has like a soldier type nature to it. Anyway, she was the goddess of the hunt, the goddess of the moon, childbirth, animals, wild animals, as well as virginity. Okay, Ashley, are there any questions? Okay.
Sorry. No, I don't see any questions.
Okay, great. Yes. So the moon is also a mirror. She has no light of her own, but she reflects the sun's light back. So she rules our emotions and feelings. Also, just like I said, the gut instincts and intuition, our needs, how we need to feel safe. So for people who have a moon in, let's say, an earth sign like Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, to feel safe, there is a need to be secure, like have some kind of financial security or stability, that kind of security in order to feel safe. There's a need to be of use and to like do something that they're different, each of those signs have different natures, but that's what they need, and go into problem solving mode when there is something where you're up against a challenge, versus when people have a moon in fire like Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo, there is this need for independence in some way, or autonomy, or adventure, or fun when the moon is in a fire sign. This like inspired, this ability to take inspired action. And it's yang, the earth signs are yin. So when, like, if you push um a fire sign against a wall, they're going to push you back. Yeah. If the moon is in an air sign of Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius, there is this need to communicate. Those are the humane signs. So, or intellectualize things. And this is a lot of my clients who have moons in air. Something they need to work on is through life is being able to get out of their head and into their body to really feel their emotions, rather than just either like a detach from them, escape from the emotions, or they need to, especially if you have a child with the moon in air, they may need to like really talk a lot. Like some air moons will like feel the need to tell you everything they're feeling or thinking, or in ways to, that's some way that helps them to feel more safe and secure. So you get in, we push them against a wall, they start talking to get you to get out of the situation, or to manage through that difficulty. Yeah. Water moons are more emotional. The moon is at home in water and home in the sign of Cancer. Pisces and Scorpio are also water signs, where water signs are mute. They're maybe more silent, where they feel deeply or feel the emotions within the body. And like you push them, they may like start crying, like have an emotional reaction, or get really angry. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to it, but that's just a little bit about the different moon signs through the elements. Yeah. The moon rules our sense of belonging, and water is wet. Water, connects in a lot of ways. So how we feel belonging or don't feel as well we belong. The moon is magnetic. It's that yin energy draws other people to us. It's receptive. You pick up signals through this emotional moon energy, and it speaks a lot about how we bond or don't bond. Yeah. There are different ways to work with the moon. One of the ways is to work with, and one of the simplest ways is to work with the transiting moon. The moon moves through every single sign, all 12 of the zodiac signs every month, spending 2.5 days in each sign approximately. And if you start working with it, keep a journal about the moon, it can help you understand like when you're most productive, when maybe you're more emotional, when you do your best work in terms of if you need to talk or communicate with others, when you do your best writing, if that's something you need to do. So if you keep a journal, how you feel, what you do, who you encounter, and observe people around yourself, that's a way to really connect into the energy. Like for myself, when the moon's in Pisces, I know to just relax, keep a light schedule, because I'm not going to get a lot done. I'm going to get like just distracted, and I'm not going to want to talk a lot. And yeah, I want to go within and maybe do something more creative. When the moon's in Virgo, opposite Pisces, I am so productive. I get the mundane tasks done. I love it. So yeah, and you can look at what the houses of your chart when you learn more about where the moon is traveling in your chart. Like I realized I naturally, once I started following the moon, I have Leo in my second house of finances. Then that is a time where I tend to pay bills when the moon is in my second house. So you learn, you look, as it takes it takes time. It took me a couple of months, but once I started learning that stuff, it's helped me be so much more effective. Yes. Are there any questions?
There are no questions.
Okay. Yeah, so just connecting with the energy can really help you improve your productivity, reduce your stress, and increase happiness. In my corporate job, there would be days where like I felt like sometimes I would be really productive and doing things well, and giving, I did a lot of presentations, doing them well, sharing information. And other days, like I wouldn't understand why there'd be a couple days where like things went sideways, or I just didn't feel like doing anything. And once I started following the moon, I got in sync with those cycles. And it just, astrology is a language of self-acceptance and compassion. And it just helps you so much understand yourself better. Another way to work with the moon is through the phases. Every month, the sun and the moon come together in a different sign and whisper secrets to each other about what they want to grow in your life. When there's a new moon, like right near one of your personal planets or angles, these are the most impactful ones, where the things may happen where, you know, you set yourself off on a new journey, or meet new people, start new relationships, things like that. But working with these phases of the moon, making the new moon, and then as her light grows at the first quarter moon is a time where we take action. The gibbous moon is exciting time where things are pregnant with possibilities. The full moon, the culmination, like when you set intentions and work with these cycles, you can seed things and have them grow and bring abundance. And then we start sharing what we've learned. And then we're ready to let go of everything. And it's the last quarter moon is a time of where we have a crisis of consciousness, where we learn lessons, integrate things. It's the psychological integration. Excuse me?
I think someone was off mute.
The moon is in Gemini. There's a lot of excitable energy. Okay. And then a new cycle happens in a new sign the following month. But working with the moon phases helps us make the unconscious conscious, helps us manifest our goals through intention setting. Really, you can tap into your inner voice, learn how you make decisions and the timing of decisions and things like that. And really helps you pivot from outside guidance to your inner guidance. When you get in sync with your inner guidance, it really can be very helpful. Yeah, and just know yourself on a deeper level.
There is a question. Do you have a good resource for looking up daily moon transits?
Yes, I recommend the Deluxe Moon app. And they have you can just go to Deluxe Moon on your computer. The app is like, I think it's like $4 or so. Yeah, in the Apple or Google Play Store. It's a great app that tells you the moon sign as well as the phase, and it gives like some guidance around. There's all this stuff about like cutting your hair and different things, or fasting, or blah blah blah, which I don't pay that much attention to, but it's a really good app. I like it a lot.
And one more, do you think those of us with Cancer placements feel the moon's energy more intensely?
Yeah, yes. It depends what house in your chart it is, but I mean, and some people, yeah, when you have a Cancer moon, yeah, I think you do feel it, feel the energy more intensely. Yeah. And it depends where it is in your chart too.
Catherine
Oh,
mentioned that you also give your moon memos on Instagram.
yes, I do. Yeah. Okay.
There's a couple more. What are the degrees of the moon? Not sure
Okay.
exactly what that question means, but
Okay. I'm asking someone who keeps coming off mute to please stay on mute. Sorry. Okay, sorry, Ashley. Can you say that again?
yeah, no problem. This is what are the degrees of the moon? I'm not exactly
Okay,
sure.
so in the zodiac, there are 360 degrees. It's broken up into 12 signs of 30 degrees each. So, like this month, we had a new moon at 1 degree of Pisces, but the moon changes degrees every couple hours. Yeah, and every planet changes degrees, like the sun changes a degree every day. Um, Jupiter every couple of weeks. It's about the speed of the planets. It's how we locate them in the zodiac.
And do you have a moon calendar that you like to buy for journaling?
Yes. So I use this it's called the honeycomb journal, and you can get it at honeycomb.co. And what it is, it's called a personal almanac, and they have your natal chart in here. You order it, and it's personal to you. It has all your transits. It lets you know all of the major moon phases. Is this journal? I also am a partner with Wise Skies Collective, and there is um, a moon a moon a moon calendar that you can just load onto your phone, and it tells you every time the moon changes signs, as well as all the different phases and everything. And Tiffany, who owns Wise Skies, has put into it as well. I talk about these 9-month moon cycles as well. She puts those in there as well. So those are two resources, and I'll drop them in the email that's going to go out afterwards. Yeah, so if you don't get the email within 24 hours, check your spam. I'll send it out tonight, but I'll put some of these resources in there. And I have a special code. You get a discount if you buy that calendar through me, the Wise Guys one. Anything else? Okay.
I don't see any more at the moment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ashley. So the natal moon is another way you can work with the moon. So each of those are getting deeper. So the natal moon, your moon in your chart, when you were born, what sign it's in, what degree it is, what house it's in your chart. Understanding this deeper helps you know how you need to nurture yourself. It gives you insight into your talents as well as your blind spots. A lot of subconscious stuff is part of our blind spots. Yeah. And it helps you articulate your needs to your loved ones or take better care of your loved ones, especially for parents. Understanding your child's moon sign, especially if it's different than yours or in a square to yours or opposite to yours, can help you so much with understanding, how to be accepting and have compassion for their ways of being. In relationships, any relationship, especially like marriage, long-term partner relationships, knowing each other's moon signs and honoring the differences. Like if someone has a water moon, they may need to just go off by themselves, understand how they're feeling, disconnect in order to understand what's their emotions versus what's your emotions, because water is so permeable that, yeah, although if the partner has a fire moon, they may want to talk about it right this minute, right now. And that's just going to cause a lot of havoc in your relationship and just escalate arguments. But if you can honor that you have different needs and come up with a system, okay, we've had a conflict. This is how we're going to go to our separate quarters for 30 minutes or whatever, and then we'll come back and talk about it when we've got some separation or whatever. Can be something like that. Or maybe an air moon needs to write down what they want to say and read it rather than just talk about it. I mean, there are a lot of things that can, knowing your natal moon and the natal moon of those people around you who you love can be such a help, or who you maybe even don't like can help you get along with them better. Awareness of your moon and your needs can help you tame self-sabotaging patterns. If you are born at night, also your moon sign, you may even identify it more than your sun sign. This is a traditional technique called sect. The sun rules the day, and so people who are born during the day may have a deeper connection with their sun sign, and born during the night feel more reflective or feel more like their moon sign sometimes, or in transits to the moon for night bursts can be more impactful. And you're born at night. Like if you look at the natal chart, if the sun is below the horizon, you were born at night. Above the horizon, you were born during the day. It's as simple as that. Okay.
There are a couple more personal questions.
Okay.
So this one says, I'm trying to work with all the energy. Big shifts are happening. I'm trying to work with Chiron and focus on any healing as well. Any advice? I'm still learning.
Oh, okay. Well, for healing and working with Chiron, mark March 11th down on your calendar. That's the date that Jupiter is going to conjunct Chiron. I had Instagram Live. You can go watch on my Instagram page with Taylor Schuler, and we talked about Jupiter and Chiron. That's an amazing opportunity for healing. Chiron is the wounding healer. Jupiter brings blessings and help. So maybe do something special, a ritual on that day. Take Moon Mastery course that will help you dive into your moon sign. I think learning about your moon is one of the best ways to have even more self-love and healing. I love Miley Cyrus's song Flowers. I've decided that's like the Moon Mastery anthem about how you can love yourself better than anyone else can once you understand your personal needs. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, the next one is I'm a Capricorn rising, Pisces sun with Gemini moon at 9 degrees in my 5th house. Is there anything in particular that I should be mindful of?
Okay, let's do that with the say that she's a Pisces rising with a Gemini moon. What?
Capricorn rising, Pisces sun, and Gemini moon at 9 degrees in her 5th house.
Okay, so be aware tomorrow is a first quarter moon where the sun will be at 8 Pisces, the moon at 8 Gemini. So really pay attention tomorrow, maybe journal and things like that about fifth house, what you want to create for your self growth and that sort of thing. Let's do more general questions rather than like I'll get into people's specific charts when I do the hot takes. Yeah. Are there any other general questions, or if there's, you can ask me another specific one if I can try to.
This one is more specific too, but you might be able to answer it without diving in. She says, I was born at 12:31 a.m. Would my sun sign Scorpio be more prominent or my moon in Aquarius?
12:31
a.m.
Okay, so you might feel like more like your Aquarius moon. That's really interesting because Scorpio and Aquarius square each other, and they're both fixed energies, and it will be a really good for you to like examine yourself. Do you get more into the Aquarius where you get more intellectual and the thinking mind, or are you a more of the Scorpio and diving deep into the emotional realms and maybe being more private, or are you more like interested in connecting with other people? Aquarius is an air sign. Air signs are humane. Do you like to connect with people for words? Or are you all in about like deep diving into the emotions, or do you keep it lighter, maybe more on the the intellectual? Do you like small talk, or do you have no patience for it? You can think about things like that. You might want to consider becoming a CIA agent. That's great for the Scorpio Aquarius dynamic. Someone who has the ability to, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, think about like get to know the two signs and learn for yourself which ones do you more relate to. Ask people what they see you as. These are ways to understand it. Like, do you detach from situations when you feel like you're getting too emotional? Yeah, yeah. That can be a self-protective method. Okay. Anything else? I hope that made sense.
Lynn has all of her big three in Scorpio, and she's wondering, is there anything unique about having the same, all three signs being the same?
Yeah, so what that means is you were born right around a new moon in Scorpio, and right around the time the sun was rising. Yeah, so that means that's why you have your big three. So you have a real concentration of that Scorpio energy. You either were a new moon baby or a balsamic moon baby. I would imagine you're incredibly intuitive, have powers of self-healing, hopefully. And like you could be an amazing counselor or a detective. Yeah, probably someone who can really be a wonderful friend for people who are going through very difficult things. Scorpio has the ability to, dive into the underworld and be there with people when they're going through very, very difficult things. Maybe you could be a death doula. Mm. Yeah. Hospice nurse. These things come to me. Or a doctor who is dealing with, life and death stuff. Yeah.
Which astrological house system do you use?
I use Placidus for natal chart work, and I use Regiomontanus for horary. And occasionally I'll look at whole sign for certain techniques like sun sign astrology. But Placidus is my main system.
And then how should one interpret the moon phase in your natal chart?
The moon phase in your natal chart tells a lot about you. It colors your personality. So like a Leo moon, person who's a Leo moon born at a full moon may be like, hey, here I am. I'm ready for the party, da 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 da. But a Leo moon who's born in the balsamic phase could be very different. They could be a lot more internal, a lot more private kind of thing. Yeah. So the phases, whether you're born in a light phase or a dark phase, or when the moon's waxing or the moon's waning, speaks to your personality. This is one of the topics we talk about in Moon Mastery.
That is all for now.
Okay. Okay, so predictive astrology, the moon is on the next level. Eclipses are so important. They highlight what will be in focus for you. Eclipses are intensified new moons and full moons, where the sun, moon, and the earth are lined up. And we walk through a door, we turn around, and it's like a wall is behind us, and we can't go back. So life can change. There are times of great beginnings or great endings when our chart is activated. And the eclipses bounce back and forth between two signs, typically for or two houses in our chart for about 18 months. And so that tells us where the work is. The solar eclipses tell us where we're bringing in things, lunar, where we're letting things go. We also looked at, when I do readings for people, I look at where the eclipses are, where your progressed moon is, as well as your progressed lunar phase. Speaks to emotionally at this time in your life, what you're going through. There's also something called solar arcs as well. And yeah, it can help you with your life cycles, fertility, and family planning. Sometimes people can use the moon phases because, women traditionally have lived in, like, when you have a group of women living together, a lot of times their menstrual cycles will sync together. And sometimes people are more fertile when the moon phase that they were born under comes back around. Now, we live in a solar society where we've gotten so far out of the natural rhythms of life. It might not be the same for everyone, but people can use the moon cycles around fertility. Okay, this is just an example of, I love Lizzo's music. She has such a great personality. Last year was the year of Lizzo, as far as I'm concerned. There was, on April 12th last year, there was Jupiter and Neptune met at 23 degrees of Pisces on her north node of the moon, at 22 here in her seventh house of like customers and clients, as well as partnership. And Jupiter expands. Neptune is the ultimate manifester. And this was a date she launched her shapewear line Yitty, which is doing great. And it was such a Jupiter Neptune thing. Neptune is like illusions and delusions. So Neptune, like, you're trying to give an image of a slimmer body. For Jupiter's bigger, Jupiter people. So shapewear for larger women. Was so on board for that. And from what I can tell, it's doing very well. There's also was an eclipse on April 30th at 10 Taurus, which activated her Jupiter. Jupiter, again, the planet of abundance, wealth, blessings. Jupiter likes to bring us good things in Taurus. Next to her sun, her identity, and her Mercury, her voice, in the ninth house of broadcasting and expansion. And she launched a TV show. I think she won an award for it, Lizzo's Big Girls or something like that. She also was on SNL and had got good reviews for that. And her new album has done great. So last year, when there was a solar eclipse in her sun sign, activating her Jupiter and her Mercury, It was signaling, and the North Node was there. Hold on a sec. It was signaling that big things were going to be coming for her. And this will be continuing into the nodes change in July. So we may see even more new things and good things for Lizzo. Yeah, because she was really activated by that eclipse. So last year she had an amazing year. Kanye West is another person who has a lot of Taurus energy, but that's South Node Scorpio eclipse opposite his Venus, Chiron, and Mars. I mean, he went down the tubes, the opposite. Yeah. So lastly, we're in Pisces season. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's the sign of the dream. It's a sign of intuition. Learning, deepening your connection with your moon in Pisces season is an amazing thing to do, because Pisces rules the liminal spaces, that, things that we can't necessarily aren't tangible, but we just have a deep knowing about, an instinctive, intuitive connection to. And this new moon in Pisces was conjunct Saturn, the planet of structures and boundaries. Saturn's also about mastery. So I think what better time to take moon mastery when there's a new moon in Pisces that also has like all these signatures. Mercury, the planet of communication, is in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign, like astrology is very Aquarian. It's about understanding what may be coming up in the future, as well as squaring Uranus, which rules astrology. Mercury is the traditional ruler of astrology. Uranus is the modern ruler of astrology, and they're talking in a square, this activating square this month. So people, like last week was really interesting. There were a lot of Mercury square Uranus, like miscommunications or like timing of things, schedule mishaps. President Biden went to Ukraine, surprise trips. Yeah, it was very interesting to see all of the Mercury square Uranus stuff. And Mercury's trine Mars and Gemini. So this is a great month, whether you take moon mastery or not, to think about letting go of anything that's holding you back, like having the plans and creating the actions about how you want to, grow whatever you want to do in your life. Yeah. And Jupiter and Venus is now in Aries, but at the time, Venus was in Pisces, sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So connecting with your desires and having the passion to take hold of opportunities to expand yourself. Yeah.
There's a couple of questions.
Okay.
How does one know when something is activated?
So when you have like a lunation or a transit that connects with one of your natal planets within, you can look at 3 degrees. It depends what it is. That's when your planets or your points are activated, like the angles, the ascendant, the midheaven, the descendant, the IC, those are your angles. When you have anything within 3 degrees of them on either side, or the planets or your nodes, that's an activation where things pop into our lives. And especially if it's by conjunction, they're together, opposition, they're opposite, and oppositions tend to come in from other people or situations, and squares are tension. The trines and the sextiles are a lot easier, and sometimes we don't realize it because there's an easier flow.
And what do you think about getting married on a waxing gibbous moon in Aries? Anything to be mindful of?
A waxing gibbous moon in Aries. Yeah, I think that can be great for fertility. But with Aries, like the balance between the self and the partner, because Aries is the I am. So you're getting married in a waxing gibbous moon in Aries. So, making sure you are always working to consider the other in relationship is the thing that jumps out at me, like not being too self-focused, both of you.
Curious about twins. Sorry, it just jumped. Can the differences in birth time make a big difference in how their charts reflect their lives?
Yeah, so twins, there's really interesting. Why can't I think of her last name? Maria. I gotta think of Maria's Blackware. I'll put her name in the chat. There's something called the draconic chart, and she has studied twins for like 20 years. And what she does when she works with them, she pulls up the natal chart and the draconic chart, which is a different system. I'm not an expert on it, but it speaks to like twins. One of them reflects one of the charts. So she's done a lot of work about how twins are different, not necessarily about the fact that they're only born minutes apart, but they take on these different energies sometimes with the different charts. So yeah, twins can be very different. It can be about, different life situations, but it's not necessarily just about their the few minutes in birth time. There's ways to look at them differently by these two different systems with astrology. I hope that made sense. I'll put Maria's information in the follow-up email so anyone interested can look at her work on twins. I haven't studied them enough to know.
Is the Moon Mastery class appropriate for someone very new to astrology?
Yes. So yes. Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. I've had people who know nothing about astrology take Moon Mastery. I've had experienced astrologers take Moon Mastery. And one of the reasons I teach it is because I feel like coming through with the moon is a great way to learn astrology, as well as, do things to help live a better life for yourself. So yes, you can take it if you're very, very new. I try to keep the information on the level where someone who's not that familiar can keep up and understand what's going on. Yeah.
That's all for now.
Okay. Well, great. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Moon Mastery Program, and then I'm going to let me drop in the chat if anyone wants to sign up, right? Okay. Oh, shoot. I think that's, oop. Hold on. Okay, so here I'm dropping it in the chat. Sorry. Two. Here we go. Sorry, I had little technical difficulties. So Moon Mastery is a tool for self-discovery and manifesting with more ease. There are 12 interactive classes. You can take 6 or 12 live on Zoom. So it's live, very interactive, and you learn the basics about astrology. So I'll set the foundation with the basics, and then we really focus on the moon throughout the class and all things about the moon, everything you wanted to know about the moon, but were afraid to ask. They're really intended to help you develop a more intimate connection with yourself, have better relationships with other people, understand compatibility, make the subconscious conscious, help you understand your hidden talents and your blind spots, about living life more in sync with what's going on a daily basis, and understanding the mystery and the magic of daily life through the lens of astrology. We talk about astrology in action, like what's going on in the real world, as well as how it relates to the astrology. Deepen all about the moon, her phases, intention setting. So if you have big goals and you want to learn a framework for how to help you not get so overwhelmed with all the things you have to do, and use the moon cycles to piece them out, and creating your personal action plan for success, as well as there's a community in the course portal to share insights, ask questions, all of that kind of time. And it's also, you build community. I know Beth is here, who's taken the class, and she and her study buddy have become great friends, and they're doing astrology things themselves, having circles and talking about astrology. I just so love that. Beth is a wonderful astrologer, and she took the class with knowledge. So why would you take it? You want a cosmic blueprint to help understand your shadows and illuminate the dark spaces, to be more consciously aware of your actions, and just have a healthier, more grounded life. Pivot from seeking outside guidance to just really starting to trust your inner wisdom more than you have in the past, maybe. It's fun. Astrology is really fun. If you're an addict like me, you can't get enough. And even if you're not an addict, you'll still enjoy it. And really working with the moon and her phases and her cycles and understanding it can really help reduce stress, increase joy, achieve goals, and build better relationships. So this is the syllabus for Astrology Moon Mastery 101, where we'll go through some of the basic foundational building blocks about astrology and the natal chart, and then we dive into the moon stuff, all about the moon. And this is a 6-week class. And then 201 is if you want to go even deeper. This is a little bit more advanced, but still people who are newer to astrology give good feedback and enjoy it. But we get deeper into the eclipses and the progressions and stuff like that in Moon Mastery 201. It's appropriate for any level of people who want to learn astrology and learn about the moon on a deeper level and have this framework. By the end of the course, you'll have a new perspective to make more conscious decisions and improve your relationships and achieve your goals. And the framework will help you advance your journey. There's some bonuses that you get when you join the class. You'll get these. I had an artist make these altar cards, and you'll get these altar cards that have all the moon phases and all the moon signs that you can put up to help you stay present with what's going on with the moon. You'll get them, and then you can print them out on photo paper or whatever. You'll get 20% off a reading or a coaching program. You get the free digital calendar. And the Procyon bonus. Procyon is a fixed star. For people who follow me know I love fixed stars, where it's like a fast acting fixed star. Procyon, when Procyon's activating your chart or something, it's like something you've got to grab on quickly. So the first 10 students will get an Ask Me Anything or horary, which is an $80 value, where you can ask me anything about your chart, a specific question, or ask a horary question, and I'll record a video for you, and that's an $80 value. And then I tend to pull oracle cards and tell you 10 times more than you asked. But yeah, you get that you can use within a year of taking Moon Mastery. as a bonus for the first 10 students. Okay, so Moon Mastery 101 starts March 14th. I'm teaching at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I need to do something for Europe. Yeah, if enough people from Europe wanted to join, I would add additional class. So you can email me if you want. But next time I'll teach European time more appropriate for Europe. But right now it's 5 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. One payment of $440 or two of $260. 201 will start May 2nd, one payment of $530 or two of $300. Or you can save now by buying both, and you get all 12 weeks of both classes. You save $170. It's $800 for the class, or 3 payments of $300. Yeah. So you are welcome to join the class. I look forward to, oh, wonderful, Courtney, I'm so excited you joined the class. Yeah, so you will get your bonuses. Yes. Okay. So anyone else, any questions about the class before we move on, or to the hot take natal chart readings? I'm happy to answer any questions about the class. You can email me directly, or if you want to have a conversation, we can have a discovery call. It starts March 14th. Okay. Oh, thank you. So Beth says, true stories. Love both levels of Moon Mastery. Absolutely insightful. Celeste is a great teacher and easy to understand. So Catherine, it's starting in March. Did it say September somewhere? March 14th, 5 p.m.
Celeste, when you go back, update your slides because
Oh, okay.
it's broken down with the dates from the original time you did it, like September.
Oh,
Like
they're all wrong. Ah, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, yeah, it starts in March. Thank you, Catherine. I will fix that all up. Yes. Yeah. I knew I had to miss something, especially with this Gemini moon. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it starts March 14th. Great. And here are just some of the resources I used. You can always go to my website and download my Sync with the Moon guide. It's updates every 3 months. And it helps you understand the different phases and has worksheets to work through. I love Stephen Forrest's Book of the Moon, Jan Spiller's. I also use skyscript.co.uk. Deborah Holding, an amazing astrologer and my horary teacher, has created this incredible resource for traditional astrology. And I'm going to use Solar Fire for all of the charts. And if you want to purchase it, you can use my code for 15% off. Yeah. Yes, I will put the books, Nadia, in the follow-up email. Yes, great catch, Catherine. I didn't even notice that. I reviewed the slide several times. You know how it is. Sometimes you don't see certain things. Okay. So anyone else, feel free to ask questions. And there's still 9 spots for the special Ask Me Anything bonus. So sign up for the course if you so choose. Okay, let's do, let me stop sharing for a second. Let's do hot take on natal readings. So Ashley, let me see. How many people have asked for a reading?
26.
Okay. So first, number 14.
Scroll up. 14 is Kate S.
Kate, are you still here? Come off
Yes.
mute. Oh, good. Okay, great. So you are first. And hold on one second. Let me just, okay, so Kate S. And Ashley, do you have the birth information?
She'll have to provide, she just put from Bay Area.
Okay, Kate, what's your birth date?
It's June 20th, 1987. 9:06 p.m. in Walnut Creek, California.
Okay. Okay. So here we have your chart. Make sure I didn't miss anything. June 20th, 1987, 9:06 p.m. Great.
Yes.
So you are a Gemini sun, a Taurus moon, and a Capricorn rising with Neptune on your rising sign. What an interesting chart. So Mars is, I have a question for you before your question. This has last year been like really a lot of change for you, or?
Yes. So much
Yeah,
change.
because as a Taurus moon and I see here, this is the home, family, and foundation house, and Scorpio on your midheaven, this is the career sector. The eclipses, these times of big beginnings and endings, have been bouncing back between like the home and you out in the world, and that could even have to do with relationships. And then Mars retrograde in the sign of your sun, and you have your sun, Chiron, and Venus in Gemini. So Mars retrograde may have been really impactful on your daily life. So yeah. Is there anything you want
Yeah.
to share or about
That's so crazy. I quit my job a year ago and I moved back with my family, and there have been a lot of family things going on too. So that's so interesting.
Yeah, and so the South Node has been going through your 10th house of career. And the South Node is about clearing things out. It's about letting things go, understanding what must die is ready to die. So you quit your job, South Node going through here, you move back home near your family, North Node in Taurus going through your 4th house. And yeah, that's a perfect example. See, the universe picked you first to show that great example. Yeah. Do you have any questions you wanted me to answer, or?
Maybe like around career. If you see anything about that in there.
Yeah. So career with Capricorn rising, and but you have Neptune on your ascendant, which almost gives you like a Piscean flavor to me. In terms of like Capricorn can be very ambitious or grounded or practical. I don't know. There seems to be something that's very intuitive about you based on that. And communication is a skill you likely have with the Gemini influence. I don't know. Have you ever thought of doing anything around counseling other people, or with this, you could also be just a great project manager or something like that but I feel like there's something where using your intuition, it could be research, or it could be more of like a counseling thing, or a detective, frankly. Yeah. What have you been doing so far with your career?
I was a mental health counselor before.
So counseling, yes, that's
Yeah.
that Neptune on your ascendant. You're very sensitive and empathetic, I would imagine, to other people, as well as intuition. And Scorpio can be a great counselor, someone who has the ability to help people through difficult situations. And the gift with the words with the Gemini, yeah, I think you're on target for doing something that you like, or something that you have a natural talent to do. Maybe even at some point, where's your Mercury's in Cancer? Mercury in Cancer. Yeah. Are you okay with the counseling, or does it take too much out of you?
Yeah, I think I'm a little too sensitive. I need to kind of figure out a different way of doing it. Because I like working with people and counseling, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking doing it in a different way. I'm just not sure what that looks like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, come for a reading if you want to like dive in deeper. I can see
Yeah.
how that could be something. Now, you're going to be having a Jupiter return soon on this eclipse is going to be important. This next coming eclipse, April 19th or 20th, depending where you are, at 29 degrees of Aries, there's going to be an eclipse. So it's right really close to your IC, but Jupiter will be at 24 degrees of Aries, coming back to where it was. And this is a time where we can expand. Yeah, so I think there are ways to use your skills in different ways that give you a relief from some of that over emotional stuff. And I pulled this card for you. Think about liberation, and there's a key there. And that March 11th, what I talked about earlier, when Chiron and Jupiter meet, I want you to really do a lot thinking about that. I want you to network too, because Jupiter is right near your north node in the third house of communication right now. Think about networking, update your LinkedIn and maybe pull out feelers, maybe go to some events about ways to pivot in your career. I bet there's a lot of ways you can. You maybe even want to look into HR or something like that. Yeah, but liberation is your card.
March 11th.
March 11th is when Jupiter and Chiron meet. I think that's a great day to do stuff around meditating, thinking about healing, stuff like that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yeah.
There were a couple of people that just now gave me their birth info. So we have a new number of 31.
Okay.
And there's a question of what does RX mean in a chart?
That's retrograde, meaning from our perspective on Earth, it appears that the planet is going backwards. It depends what planet it is and about how important it is. It can be like there's more of an internal nature, like people who are born with Mercury retrograde think a little differently. I was born with Mercury retrograde. Yeah, sometimes their partners don't know what they're thinking because they kind of keep their thoughts inside and stuff. Yeah. Number 24, Ashley.
Okay, 24 is Brittany Thomas.
Okay, Brittany, are you still here?
I am. Hi.
Hi, and I'll go over, I'll do as many as I can because I know I talked a lot and we're coming up on 3:30. Ashley, are you okay to stay a little late?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, great. Okay, Brittany, what is your birth information, or did you put it?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. It's June 10th, 1987. I was born in New York, and at 8:15 a.m.
Okay. Okay. Great. Oh, another Gemini. Yes. And let's see here. Gemini sun, but your sun is in the 11th house of groups and associations. Very different than a sun in the 6th house of service, and which we had the last person. Moon in Sagittarius, love a Sagittarius moon, and Cancer rising like me. So you were born on either the day before or it would have to be the day before a full moon. So a lot about your life is about relating to other people, finding, because when the sun and the moon are opposite, that gives a person like this Libra nature where there's learnings to be had about your personal needs versus other people's behavior. Like a lot of times people born on a full moon, because the sun and the moon, their lights are opposite. There's this tension that you have to learn to balance those energies in order to find success. A lot of presidents are born during lunar eclipses where there's a full moon, but there's this faded quality to it. Yeah. Okay, you're going to have a Jupiter return too. coming up soon, and Jupiter is right near your north node too. So are you having like new things happening at work, or did you get a promotion recently, or any good things happening there, or needing freedom from?
Yes. Actually, I'm in transition of leaving a job
Uh-huh.
that I've been at for about 6 months. It's fairly mundane. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm definitely looking at transitioning out of that into something a little bit more fun and creative. And then I also started my own company as a public speaker about a year ago, and that just kind of literally came out of nowhere. So I'm bouncing around kind of all over the place these days.
I love that. Well, you are now in a growth phase because of the fact that Jupiter, and let me do the double, because you have an Aries midheaven. You have an Aries midheaven. Jupiter is right here in your 10th house. Jupiter is expansive. And you have a Sagittarius moon, which is also a fire sign. So, like, you have the courage to have the freedom to just leave the job that wasn't serving you, to focus on something that you want to do that's more creative. Your moon in Sagittarius is in the 5th house of creativity. You need to take risks like excite your soul in some way. Do you feel that?
All the time. It's a little
and
people in my life.
You need to express yourself in your own unique way. Communicating is very important for you with this Gemini sun. Words, Gemini on the highest level can take the information from the heavens. You see these 2 pillars. It's like the two bars and the 2 pillars from the heavens down to the collective, and teach us things. And I wonder, as being a public speaker with your sun next to Chiron, are you talking about some pain and hardship that you went through in your life, or some wound that you've worked to heal, and sharing your story with people to help motivate them to like do things for themselves? Is that any nature of what you public speak about?
Yes, it's a women's empowerment company, and we do storytelling, and that's our focus on childhood wounds and just trauma that's happened throughout our lives. And that was given to me by my guides. I didn't plan on doing that until about 2 years ago, and I got a vision that I was supposed to be on stage doing this. So I think it's
you got a vision. You have Mars and Mercury in your 12th house, the 12th house of mysticism, water. You just get information, you get into, and as a Cancer rising, that Sag moon rules your whole chart. Yeah, and Venus at the 29th degree is a karmic degree of the sign of Taurus. It's at home there, it's really strong. Speaks to you. Yeah, women's empowerment. I love it. Aries moon. Yeah. I mean, not Aries moon, Aries midheaven, Aries north node, and Jupiter there. Yeah, you have a great chart. Yeah. And I pulled the metamorphosis for you. So you're going through a metamorphosis where you're changing. You're butterflying. I love it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. This is beautiful.
You're welcome. Yeah.
There's a question. Sorry, I missed it. What degree is Jupiter Chiron meet up?
That's at 14 degrees of Aries on March 11th.
And then I have a number 32 to add to the list too.
Okay. Okay. Oh, 32 came up.
Okay, so that is Sizue. And her birth date is January 3rd, 1989. Butterworth, South Africa.
Ooh. What time?
22 o'clock, I believe. It's in military.
Okay. And what South Africa? I'm sorry, I missed.
Butterworth.
I grew up in a neighborhood called Butterworth, but in New Jersey. And how do you spell Sizaway?
S-I-Z like zebra, I-W-E. And if you want the last name, that's listed too.
Oh, no, that's okay. Sizaway, could you come off mute?
Hi.
Hi. So January 3rd, 1989 at 10 p.m.?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is that exact or approximate?
I think it was 10:02 or 10:01. I'm not 100% sure in terms of the minutes. Yeah.
Okay, that's close enough. 10, I'll change it to 10:02. See if that makes any difference. Okay. And did I say your name right?
Yeah, Suziwe.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So you're a Capricorn sun. It's so interesting. Whenever I do these, there's all these like threads that weave in through the different people. And so Kate was a Capricorn rising with Neptune on her ascendant, and you're a Capricorn sun with Neptune right next to your sun. That gives you like a Piscean essence to you. Would you call yourself very creative?
Hello, sorry.
Oh, would you call yourself very, very creative? Can you hear me?
People say so. I haven't really explored it much, but I've been told that a lot, that I'm quite creative, and I tend to gravitate more towards the arts as well. I've seen, yeah.
Do you work with children or something with the fifth house emphasis?
Not at all. Not at all.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm in a research environment. Yeah. Nothing related to children or anything of the sort. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Your sun is shining in the fifth house of creativity, self-expression, children, things we create for joy. Now you have Saturn there, so maybe that's part of your lesson in life is to spend more time like giving yourself more joy. Now your moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of the researcher. Your moon is in the third house of the mind. So you working in a research environment also makes a lot of sense, especially because you're a Virgo rising as well. And you have that Mercury in Aquarius ruling your whole chart. So I bet you're a brilliant researcher. Like you like probably have the ability, do you have to like pull yourself away? Like you get into the go mode and you're like deep into the topic for hours. Is that you?
In the zone, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that Scorpio. Like
that's me.
You like just Scorpio is a water sign that just like goes deep into the and wants to know everything about everything about everything. Yeah. And then that Virgo helps you like categorize it and figure out what's the most important pieces. Yeah. And that Mercury and Aquarius, like there's just a lot of people with Mercury and Aquarius are just really smart. Think things in a way other people don't realize. It just has like a gift. Now, it being in the sixth house, I hope you, and Virgo rising, I hope you have ways to get out of your head, because that is a lot of times people, that combination makes me think you may overthink or get anxious about stuff and have a hard time disconnecting from.
Yeah, it do,
Yeah. I pulled luck for you. So serendipity, especially this month, I want you to pay attention to signs and symbols.
Okay.
Maybe some like unexpected positive things could just come out of nowhere. Maybe that's why you got that fifth house emphasis. That's a house of like also like gambling, or maybe buy a lotto ticket. I don't know. Maybe you'll win something
Oh, okay. Yeah,
unexpectedly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any other,
Thank
did
you
you
so
have any
much.
question? I just kind of jumped in with my.
Um, oh no, for me, my question
Ooh.
related again to that, I guess, card was, I was trying to find ways to make a secondary income, rather than just my normal 9 to 5er. So just to, fix my finances and all of that. So that's, yeah. So
Ah,
yeah.
this is a good time to do it because Jupiter
Mm,
traveling through the sign of Aries will at some point soon will conjunct your Mars, and Mars is the planet of action, in a trine with your Venus, which rules your income. So now is a good time to be making plans to do
okay. Is that me?
I don't know, somebody's phone.
Oh.
It's okay. Yeah. So now is a
Mm,
good time to think about doing something different and making the plan. You can always come for a personal reading if you want to
okay.
dive deeper into it. But yeah, and Saturn's
Okay, yeah.
into Pisces. So yeah, there's a you might want to get I'll put it in the link. I did a thing about Saturn and Pisces, and it's going to be really
Okay.
important to you because it's going to cross your descendant. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Somebody
Mhm.
important could be coming into your life as a teacher soon.
Okay.
Yeah, or as a like a life partner or something like
Mm,
that, with Saturn crossing
mm,
your descendant. You may want to come take Moon Mastery. Same goes for Brittany and Kate. Yeah, to
okay.
develop the deeper connection in with that moon. Yeah, that Scorpio moon.
Awesome.
The moon is in what's called fall, no, detriment in, fall in Scorpio, meaning there needs to be a management of all of that emotional intensity because Mars rules Scorpio. Yeah,
Mhm.
so consider it if you're so interested.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
One question, what does having a Jupiter return mean?
So Jupiter comes back to where it was when we were born every 12 years. And when Jupiter comes back to where we were born, it picks up a different planet, and like there's this change in what you're growing for your life. And at age, it's like it starts with the moon, Venus. I think in the 30s it picks up the sun, and it's a time where around age 36 you can really start to shine and things like that. I'd have to look at my notes. But anyway, Jupiter, when it comes back to where it was, there tends to be some growth with people, some abundance, where there's some more ease and flow for you, where blessings come in wherever Jupiter is. Now, Jupiter can also be about overindulgence or excessiveness or things like that. But in general, we see it as really positive, where there can be, with effort put in, you can have success with Jupiter. It's a greater benefic. It brings us good things. Yeah, 48, it picks up Mars, and then 60, it picks up Jupiter. I think it picks up the sun. So you look to the relationship of Jupiter and what planet it's picking up can give you some information. For Seaway, she's going to have a Jupiter return next year. Jupiter is in nice relationship with her sun. So that could be really exciting. 2024 for her. Yeah. Okay. Oh, let's keep going. with another person. Number 18.
Teen is Angie.
Angie, are you still here? Come off mute.
And born in Newport News.
Did she
Virginia.
say, are you still here, Anne? I want to make sure you're still here before I pull up your chart. Maybe she had to go. Okay. Let's do number 4.
Where is Megan?
Megan, are you still here? Uh-oh. Megan? Okay. Number 16. Oh, Megan, is that you or Anne? Number 16.
16 is Gail Sifrit. Seifert. Gail.
Come off mute and say something, Gil, if you're still here. Oh, how strange. Okay. Let's see. 30. Oh, we already did 32. Number 2.
Number 2, Lynn from Santa Barbara.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Found something. Oh, good. Okay, Lynn.
I was born in Santa Barbara,
Uh-huh.
California, November 19th, 1949, and at 6:21 a.m.
Okay. And you said Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay, Lynn. Okay. Have we talked before? Your chart looks familiar.
Long, long time ago.
Yes, because you've got that triple Scorpio. And
Yes.
this year, with the eclipses bouncing back and forth between Taurus and Scorpio and the South Node in Scorpio, did you have a lot of changes or shed old stories about yourself or feel a need to, like, did your identity in some ways change?
I think after the pandemic, my identity actually improved and it changed, but in a positive way.
Sometimes when we shed things, it's for the best.
Yeah, I think it's been a great shedding time.
Yeah, realizing what's really important, letting go, and especially for all that Scorpio energy, sometimes it can be hard to let go of things. So letting go of old stories that weren't serving you could have been a great thing that you did with through the pandemic. Yeah. And your health is good and everything. And
My health is good. I just found out I have AFib, which was really frustrating because I've been so proud at 72. I still had great health.
Yeah. Well, this Mars retrograde, Mars has been in Gemini since last August, and it's stationed squaring it's wide, but squaring your natal Mars, which can be things about our physical body, and your Mars Saturn conjunction. So it's not surprising that there was something coming up, especially with the eclipses in your your sun ascendant and moon sign, and that lunar eclipse in October. Uranus is opposite you from the 6th house. So let me actually do the tri-wheel. Yeah, so Uranus has been opposite your moon, AFib, Uranus, like a rhythm issue. Yeah. So, but, you know, in modern times, there's, you know,
There's good treatment
yeah.
and the heart is strong. It's just AFib. So
Okay. Yeah. And your progressed moon's in Cancer in your 8th house. And the 8th house can be about emotional worry and stuff like that. So it's not surprising around that timing of that. But you can, yeah, you know, there's treatment. Yeah. Did you have any specific questions about anything?
anything about relationships?
Well, the North Node is in Taurus. And so you're looking to meet someone new,
No,
get rid of someone?
no, just to see where it's going.
So you're dating someone now, seeing if it's
Yeah, and he lives in Denmark. So
okay. So what I'll do for that. Okay. So this is what I do horary. So you're looking to see your relationship, where it's going. So you're the sun and the partner is Saturn. You're also the moon. Mercury. Well, it's so interesting. Venus, which can represent the relation, like it's about the relationship in general, is in the 9th house of long distance travel. And Venus in Aries is a sign that somewhat is in detriment. Venus doesn't like to be in this sign, but and it's ruling the midheaven. It seems like, just my hot take without studying the chart too much, it almost feels like, you know, you're kind of moving away from him. Like, do you feel like you're losing interest?
not necessarily losing interest, but losing a little patience with the distance is okay. It's just the amount of time we see each other. I'm good with long distance travel. It's just not, we're just having a harder time seeing each other more often.
Yeah. Like, I think you're going to be having a conversation coming up, maybe even this week on Thursday. Mercury and Saturn will be conjunct. See, the sun has changed signs and moved away from Saturn. You're the sun, he's Saturn. To me, yeah, I can feel like you're changing your thoughts about it. It's also the moon in Gemini, also speaks to you in the 10th house. And your next aspect is a square to the sun. Yeah, I think a conversation to talk about, like, where we are we going to make this better, or are we going to go our separate ways, maybe coming soon for you and your partner. But it doesn't seem like you're happy with the way things are right now, with the sun in the 8th house representing you in Pisces, and it's probably stirring up some emotions and that you need to speak about them. You're also the moon in Gemini, so that would be my hot take on that horary chart.
That's a pretty good hot take. I mean, it's not a good hot take. That's not what I want, but
that's what, I have to pull your card. But, you know, when you have the conversation, maybe things can change. But
well, he's coming in April, so.
That's eclipse season. So that can be a time of great beginnings and great endings. I pulled the messenger card. Really speaks. Mercury's the messenger. Yeah, Mercury's coming to Saturn. That's important for everyone this week. You may get important news. The messenger, yeah, Gemini moon, the messenger. There's a first quarter moon tomorrow. And And the eclipse is that 29 degree of, it's just barely in your fifth. Chiron's on your north node. Yeah, it's going to be a lot about deciding whether you want to continue, if it's worth continuing on. This Chiron, March 11th, Jupiter and Chiron are meeting on your north node in the fifth house of dating, sex, that kind of stuff, things we do for joy. I think you're going to be making some decisions about this, or at least articulating your needs about this before he gets here in whatever you call it, April. Yeah. Might be a good this first quarter moon is a good time for you to think about what you really want. The sun in Pisces, pull some cards, do maybe a reading for yourself, or you can come book a reading if you want to dive deeper. Yeah, but yeah, I think you know what you need to do.
Sadly.
Yeah, and like finding out you have AFib like really does reprioritize your values.
Mm-hmm.
Even
really
though
does.
even though you know it's treatable and all that stuff, but yeah, it's like you're going to be having some come to Jesus moments with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, number 12.
12 is Shelby Alreed.
Shelby, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
And I have Eugene, Oregon, but I don't have a date or time.
Oh, it was Renton, Washington, is the birth location, Renton, 5:51 a.m., April 14th, 92. Sorry, that was a weird order to give things.
That's all right. April 14th, 1992. What time?
5:51 a.m.
Okay. So you are Aries sun, Virgo moon, and Aries rising. How interesting. Double Aries and that Virgo. So jumping out to me, like Aries is like the go-getter, and Virgo was that's their perfection energy. So do you feel like do you have analysis paralysis at times, or
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
There's a lot of conflicting feelings in my personality for sure.
Your conscious mind is like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is my goal, blah, blah, blah. But the moon is like, but what happens if something goes wrong? Let's triple check, quadruple check all of our steps forward and da 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 da. Yeah. That's a challenge, those two together. Yeah. And did you have any specific questions?
I guess I've had a lot of things going on with my family, specifically my brother and like his mental health and things, and just things with, I don't know, just family dynamics, and just curious if there's sort of anything family wise or specifically sibling wise, maybe that comes up for you.
Okay. So Mars, the planet of action, drive, assertion, all of these things, went retrograde on October 31st, the day before Halloween, in the sign of Gemini, square the planet Neptune, and this is in your third house of the siblings. So yeah, so there could be a lot about, your sibling acting out with like words, like saying things that are difficult, or mental stuff, or like even like a futility, like suicidal ideation or things like that, where there's a lot of mental stuff going on with your sibling. Yeah. Is he getting treatment for whatever's going on?
Yeah, he's been in a psychiatric facility for almost a year now.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he your only sibling, or do you have more?
Only sibling, yeah.
So this is a good, okay. So everyone in our life is in our natal chart. So the third house is the house of the sibling. And since you only have one, it's very easy. But if you had more, we could separate them out through something called derived houses. So Mercury rules Gemini, and you have it in the 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of institutions, self-undoing, self-sabotage, house of secrets. And Mercury is at the 29th degree of Pisces. So your Mercury is in what's called detriment. So that really makes sense about, and it's trine Pluto. So I don't know if he deals with obsessive compulsive things, or
Yeah, he has autism, which is that's a pretty big part of it, OCD. So he's always definitely had that.
Yeah, so you can see that in your chart.
Interesting. Yeah, I never realized that like relationship showed up in that way on there.
Yeah, yeah, your sibling, your father is your 4th house, your mother is your 10th house, your love partners are your 7th house, friends 11th. Yeah, everybody is in our chart somewhere. You are the ascendant, so you're your Mars in Pisces. Yeah. So yes, so I'm glad he's getting treatment. Saturn is going into the sign of Pisces, so it's really good that he's in a facility that's trying to help him. Hopefully they'll be able to treat him and help him with his issues. Yeah, let me pull a card for you. And you're in your Saturn return, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's coming up on his birthday. His 29th birthday is March 3rd.
Oh, so he's a Pisces sun.
He's got tons of planets in both Pisces and Scorpio, and all his Pisces is in the 12th house.
Oh, so it's really good that he's in a facility. I pulled because Saturn's going to be going over everything in his chart, and Saturn's a planet of karma, limitations, boundaries, hardship. Yeah, it can be, it's like a heavy blanket sometimes. It can also be achievement after hard work. So if he like really works the program, commits to taking his medication, does the things, hopefully he'll do better. But I pulled the card direction for you. So knowing your North Star, like taking care of yourself despite all of the, and it looks like you're probably pretty close to your family. Your South node's in the sign of Cancer, and that can speak to like emotions. Your moon is in Virgo. It looks like you take on a lot for yourself. Emotionally, take a lot of responsibility for other people, feel like you need to serve them. So I want you to think about yourself and the direction you want to go and things like that. Yeah, despite all these other things. Yeah, understanding what you can control and what you can't, knowing the difference.
Yeah, that resonates a lot. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry I couldn't get to everyone today. There's another one on Thursday. Yeah, I hope to see more of you in Moon Mastery. You get the bonuses if you sign up soon, but it doesn't start till the 14th, so you have time to think about it. Yeah. So thank you so much, Ashley, for monitoring the chat. You were such a huge help. Are there any other questions before We go? Okay. Okay, everyone, you take good care of yourself and hope to see you later in the week. Okay, bye.